Hello, you guys. Welcome to this midweek. I took a little bit of time off because sometimes I feel like I don't have anything to share that would feel insightful or helpful. And so I don't. I only share when it feels like the messages that I'm receiving and the energy that is building will feel useful to have me come on and talk to you about. And I really felt like we had this beautiful new moon this last weekend in Pisces. The beautiful thing about a new moon is that the sun and the moon are next to each other. So if you look at someone's chart and you see the sun and moon next to each other, holding hands, that means they're new moon babies. And I love that because a new moon in Pisces, we're at the end of the astrological wheel. It's the 12th house. It's the last house of astrology. And I love that for us because it's been such a... we began this new year, and usually we begin New Year's thinking, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get a workout regime, and I'm going to do this. There's so many I'm gonnas, but this year it just wasn't that. I think this year there wasn't a direct force, an energetic force guiding us to want to commit or do something fresh and new quite yet. And we've been kind of waiting, and it's been this like kind of darker incubation type of period. I don't know if you've been feeling that. And I feel that this new moon in Pisces is really coming to, was and did come to give an astrological, watery, emotional support that maybe it felt emotional. Maybe it felt a little hard. Maybe there were some insights or some deeper meanings that came to the surface that maybe were hard to process. But I believe that Pisces energy did this in good faith for us to be able to move forward, for us to be able to start with this new year energy that we were so wanting to have at the actual new year. But here we are at the end of the astrological plane here with a Pisces sun, beginning of Pisces, and a Pisces new moon. And I just really love that because now we're going to head into March and everything is going to change. And I think that that is really necessary. I think that that is really important. I will say that all of these things are going into Aries. You know, we've got Venus, we've got Jupiter, we've got Chiron, we've got these really important planets and asteroids coming into this Aries energy, because there are other asteroids too. And it's creating energy. It's creating shifting. And what I love so much is that it's creating healing because Chiron will be there, Jupiter will be there, Venus will be there, and Aries is the first house of astrology. It's about the self. Chiron is our wounded healer. It's about our wounds. Jupiter is the lucky planet and Venus is the loving planet. So let's put all of that together and give it to ourselves at the beginning of March because it's this beautifully auspicious time to heal. It's a time, and I feel that this Pisces new moon maybe unwove a few tangles within ourselves that maybe hurt a little bit or maybe felt sensitive or whatever, but the Aries energy is coming to clean it. The Aries energy is coming to reignite our commitments to ourself, our commitment to what we promised to come here and do for ourselves on this planet. We're so other-oriented so often. Venus is too. Venus loves harmony. But I love that we're starting now. We're going into March with this added energy, this added ability to see our wounds differently. And this week is like this really interesting little gimme, you know, because Mercury enters the scene this week and it does it squares Uranus and it trines Mars. These are big planets. Uranus is the planet of sudden change. Mars is our warrior planet and it's working with Mercury, which is our communicator. It's how we communicate. It's what we're thinking. It's our monkey brain. It's intrinsically the places in which we can get stuck in the communication or the thought traps, you know, the places that we get on these tangents that we can't let go, you know. And so for some of us, this might mean big news. This might mean big conversations. This might mean big thoughts that are coming at us in a really kind of intense way because Uranus and Mars don't mess around. They're big news planets. They're planets that don't want to just stay docile. And so here's the rev up this week. Thoughts. It's in our thoughts and it's in the way we're communicating. Here is the revving up for then all of this collective energy that's going to start building in Aries, which I love for us because first we're thinking about it this week, okay? We're thinking our bigger thoughts. We're planning, we're communicating these things that maybe we haven't been able to communicate before, but now they're right here, glaringly more obvious. And so we can sit and ponder this and like clean your thoughts, clean that like place where you come from inside of yourself, because our thoughts aren't inside of us. They're really like the nerve endings, the places around us that we allow ourselves to have our stories. I call them our victim times. Our time where our thoughts can really control us. I think of the devil card. I think of, getting on a loop and not being able to get off it. Well, I think our thoughts are sick of this. I think COVID has done this to us in a really gnarly way. And now the energy is in the mood to change it. What do you need to heal? What is up right now? What is coming up? What is your victim story? And allow yourself to go deep. Like, where's the trauma? Where's the pain? Where are the places that you have not yet healed? This is really confronting, isn't it? Like, those thoughts are confronting thoughts, but they're not real. That's the piece that I really want you guys to consider this week as Mercury is doing all kinds of silly things to bring up all of these thoughts and all of these histories that we have about ourselves. Because then next week when all of these planets are going to be so helpfully in Aries, it's going to help us so much to burn away that phoenix from the ashes, right? To burn away the things that aren't necessary anymore. Aren't you tired of your story? Aren't you a little tired of feeling sorry for yourself? I know I super am. I know I've spent a lot of time doing that in this COVID time. I know I've spent a lot of time hurting and not looking for a solution, and that's okay. I think that we are all of us in a state of still trying to come out of our own proverbial shells, to come out of our own fear states, to come out of our own uncertainties and all of the, really intense conflict that was brought out in COVID. So I do feel that this is the new year we've been waiting for, right? We're going to start to feel more energy. We all got colds, we all got sick, and now it's time to start climbing the mountain again. It's time to start. It's time to pick up our backpacks and lace our shoes and start feeling the ground underneath us. It's time to start. Whatever that means for you, it's time to start a new inner dialogue. And I think that this is very important because later on in March, all kinds of intense things happen too. Pluto moves signs, Saturn's moving signs. There's all of these indicators that big change is upon us. But the biggest change, the most necessary change, are the ones that happen inside of us. And how can we attune and be ready for bigger life shifts, bigger world shifts, if we're not doing our bigger internal shifts? We have to be able to move with what is shaking and rumbling underneath us. We have to be flexible. We have to find the cardinal energy, which is Aries, cardinal, startup energy inside of us to move again, to feel again, to understand ourselves in a different way. Aries rules the self and our bodies. So go for more walks, sing songs, dance, do anything that shakes up your state, shakes up where you're at. Because if you are stagnant and you are stuck, you can't stay stuck when you're moving. You absolutely cannot. Go on a road trip. There are so many ways in which we can change our state to change our lives. There is no point in staying in pain other than pain, and I know we all like that stuff. We all click to it. I watch my murder documentaries. I, look when I see sirens. We are all attuned to danger. It's an evolutionary thing. We're all attuned to suffering. We're all attuned to those things. But how long? For how long? Like, where are your breaks? Where are the times where there's room for joy to come in, where there's time to shake off the weight? We carry so much. We spend so much time carrying things that we could easily set down if we had better boundaries. You know, I love high road Aries energy because I think Aries is ruled by Mars. I think of boundaries. When I think of healthy Aries energy, I think of an energy that doesn't need validation from the outside world or outside resources. It is confidence. It is body. It is soul. It is self-centered. And I know we don't like that word because we put a lot of negative connotations to it. But self-centering is a really beautiful thing when it's at its high road. Self-centered on the low road is narcissism, is caring more about yourself than other people. This isn't what I'm asking for. What I'm saying when I say self-centered is when you're coming from your own heart and your own self that is centered within itself, imagine what you can create. Imagine if there was, because this last month was asked of us some raw authenticity, the authentic self, introducing yourself to yourself and righteously accepting what's on the table of your life. Pick it up, look at it, ponder it, put it back on the table, whatever. But getting into a more authentic state and then acting, cardinal energy, Aries energy, acting from that place is the medicine of the beginning of March. And Jupiter's right there saying you can heal these wounds. You can do this. Whatever is hurting can heal. And even if you're not there yet, there's no way you're not going to at least feel the inkling to want to try again. And that's what I love. And that's what I love about humans. That's what I love about a good story is the moment at which the bottom has fallen out. Because we have many times, and oh, this card just fell right out. We have many times in our life where the bottom just falls out from under us because there's no such thing as a platform. Newsflash. It doesn't exist. There is no outside resource that is going to hold you forever. It's you. You are the one that can build the platform inside yourself so that when all the other platforms fall away, there's still your body that you can land in. And that's what this energy is asking. The card that fell out is the Wheel of Fortune. Because right now, with so much change upon us, so much energy being asked of us in this next cycle of life, we all are kind of taking a risk. We're all taking a risk showing up righteously into this life and saying, I surrender to my life circumstance. And yet I have desire to heal and make better, to heal and make good on all of these hard things that have happened, because otherwise, what's the point? And the Wheel of Fortune doesn't promise prosperity. It doesn't promise a happy ending. Neither does a good book, FYI. But we can promise ourselves that no matter what is happening, we are the commander of our own wheel. We can turn that wheel whenever we want. And if we don't like where it lands, well, then we just spin it again, okay? Because this is life. Life is not promised. Life is not guaranteed. There's nothing that you could desire or want that once you achieved it would necessarily look the way that you think it's going to look. So many people of great wealth are some of the most unhappiest people I've ever met. Some of the people that have been in 50-year marriages are not the most, comfortable or safe in their relationship. There is no one size fits all living. And the best thing you can do for yourself is not look at that Wheel of Fortune, grass is greener, those other things. Those outside resources that keep you thinking that something else or someone else's life is better than yours. It's so much better. Here comes this Aries energy again, to look inside of ourselves and say, would I really want to be somebody else? And if the answer is yes, then you got some work to do. I got some work to do. We got some work to do. If there's some part of you that you don't like, that doesn't fit, that doesn't feel good, this is the time to start reflecting, shifting, take control of your own life history, life story, ancestral wounds. There are things that are out of our control. But what is in our control is how we feel deep down about ourselves and our life circumstance. And no matter where you're at in that process, coveting or wishing for something different is a dangerous game. I don't know if you've watched all those genie movies or read the stories or whatever, but they never end super well, do they? Except Aladdin, because it's Disney. But even that, okay? Even that, whatever you're wishing for, We're all wishing. And you know what? I've got this really weird secret to tell you. Sometimes we wish for bad things to happen to ourselves. Yes, we do. We wish for conflict. There are things that we desire that then manifest as conflict. And it's not that we necessarily did it intentionally. It's just that we didn't realize that we were manifesting it. Think about a grudge that you have. Think about thinking about that grudge every single day. What do you think you're manifesting when you're thinking about those things? Hate, pain, grudges, your history. The more you think about those things, the more you're manifesting those things in real time. So the energy now is wanting us to shift. It's wanting us to move. It's wanting us to understand that fate is fate. And why mess with it? Don't. It's not your job. That's not what you came here to do. You came here to be a human being, an imperfect, unenlightened human being. And as we ascend, as we climb the staircase of our own individual life paths and stories, the more you have to trust that what is happening to you is happening for a reason. Imagine, just imagine, if anything that happened to you next week, next month, next year, whatever, you righteously believed that that was supposed to happen because you were supposed to work through that for a very specific, very important reason. You'd look at it different. What if someone promised you that this hard thing happening was so that this good thing could happen, and you can't have one without the other? So, would you get divorced to meet the true love of your life? Of course you would. So, when hard, bad things happen, it's so important that we understand that we can't only think that the good things are meant for us. The bad things are meant to teach us and evolve us and turn us into those phoenixes that I love for that fire cardinal Aries energy. So take this week. It's very thought heavy. The Mercury's here. Mercury's doing big things. It's giving you a little bit of a sneaky peek as to what's on the horizon for March, and allow yourself to shift. Allow your story to change. Allow life to happen to you as it comes. Because also High Road Aries is righteous presence. Being able to be here right now. First house, like a newborn baby. New. Everything's new. Imagine if you looked at the world like that. It would change you. It's changed me. It can change all of us. I hope you have a beautiful couple of weeks full of transformation and innovation and time to think about what that all could mean for you. Please like and subscribe to my page. I so appreciate all of the people that already do that and leave comment to let me know how this resonated with you. I'm so grateful to be here in this very human time and space with you. May we all accept our humanness this week and become maybe something greater.